Hey there, my movie-loving peeps! I'm never saying that again. So, I was originally going to review these movies separately, but I'll figure I'll just review them both in one video, like I did before. So yeah, if you guys have seen these movies, then let me know in the comments and let me know what you think of them. So the first movie I went to see was A Quiet Place Day 1. A lot of horror movies that came out recently this year were more than a little concerning. A lot of them just weren't surprising or just didn't really make people excited for scary movies this year as far as I know. And I was a little worried because horror movies are one of my favorite genres in film, and it feels like they weren't really trying on what makes a scary movie good. It just seems like it's more laughable as a result for making bad horror movies. So I was a little nervous going into A Quiet Place Day 1. I mean, I really loved the first two movies, and I knew they weren't going to mess this up. But after all of the results from horror films this year, I don't know if this was gonna stand a chance. And boy, what a relief this movie was. A Quiet Place Day 1 is actually pretty good. But by all means, I consider this one to be the weakest out of the franchise. But that doesn't mean it's bad. It's still pretty good for what it is. This movie takes place to where it all begins, in New York City, this time. And how these sound-sensitive creatures made it to Earth, and how the whole world went quiet. And the main lead actor, Lupita Nyong'o, befriends Joseph Quinn. Both are just trying to figure out how to survive this apocalyptic world that they're trying to survive in. The two actors that I've just mentioned are both really good in this film. Yeah, even with the movie almost having no dialogue, it's really investing to see these two bond over the course of the film. And it works. There are some moments in here that are cute in a way. There's a scene near the end where they're just silently performing in a bar with no people, and Joseph Quinn surprises Lupita Nyong'o with a card trick. It's just a really nice and wholesome scene that I like. There's also a running gag throughout the film where Lupita Nyong'o just wants to eat pizza, and I thought it was pretty funny, but in a cute way. And her cat in the film was amusing, to say the least. Yes, the cat was also a part of the story as well, and I actually think it was well done for the most part. In my opinion, this movie still has the same tension as it was in the first two films, and I think it's still pretty well done for how they do it. The sound design is what makes the tension more intense, because obviously, as the title implies, you can't make any noise. But there's also something new with the creature that I thought was interesting, but it didn't really explore it much, but I think it's for the best, I guess. In case they're saving it for part 3, which I hope it comes out eventually, and hope that it will be a good conclusion to this franchise. It's kinda hard for me to say if I had any problems with this film, but what comes to mind is that it sort of lacks with it being scary, if you know what I mean. There are some good tension, but it's probably a me thing, but there isn't really much to get scared of. I mean, the first film was the only one in the franchise that I would say it's considered scary, because you're new to the world and story that you don't know how it's gonna play out. So what I can say is that it sort of expects you to know going into this new film, if that makes sense. I don't know, that's just my thought of it. But there's also some pacing issues in the middle as well, but they weren't a huge problem for me. Other than that, this movie is about what you expect for a Quiet Place film. I think it's still pretty good, even if I think it's the weakest out of the franchise, but I would recommend it if you're a fan of these movies. So I'm giving A Quiet Place Day 1 an 8 out of 10. Excuse me, bananas are really good. Did you know that bananas can restore dry hair or damaged hair? Yeah, if your hair feels dry or just isn't looking good, just put that banana on your scalp and you will be good in no time. I'm no professional, but I read it as a fact. But anyways, I saw Despicable Me 4, the 4th film in the franchise. I mean, unless you count the Minions movies, then that makes 6, but who's keeping track? So at the beginning, I was cautiously looking forward to this one. One, because I liked the first two films when I was younger, but I can't really say the same with the third one. But these films do make a lot of money, so Illumination went ahead and made a 4th one. I saw it, and it's about what I expected. It's a fine movie. There are some fun moments in here, but it's mostly a movie for kids, which is not a bad thing. But I think there are some kids movies that can have a good story, and both kids and adults can enjoy. But Illumination is the type of animation studio that can have a wide mass appeal for everyone, but just really lacks story-wise. The story in here is sort of all over the place. There are subplots in here that I could really care less about, and it mostly comes around as just a lot of filler, and it makes the pacing of the movie really drawn out a lot of the time. So basically we have a lot of shenanigans about Gru and his family hanging out in their undercover house area, and it's just basically mini episodes for each of them, just them doing random stuff to either keep the story going or just to stretch out the runtime. And also the villain, who is also voiced by Will Ferrell by the way, was just I mean, I guess he had some funny moments, but he just lacks as a villain, and the minions are just as amusing as they were for the rest of this franchise, which I know a lot of people don't like the minions, but to me they're not that bad, but they really don't add much to the story as well. They're just there. Plus the super minions were kinda underwhelming. They were just mostly a marketing scheme and they were really underused in the movie as a result. Also, Gru's actual baby in the film was pretty fun to watch in my opinion, but I would say that the ending caught me by surprise. I won't spoil it in case you're a fan of this franchise, but let's just say that there were some callbacks to the previous films for this franchise. I don't know, I thought that was something that I liked about it. But yeah, I think it's time that we put this franchise to rest. Unless the studio says otherwise, then I wouldn't be too surprised about it, I guess. And also, another saving aspect that I'm now going to add to my reviews are the movie's original songs. So with this one is the original song by yet again Pharrell Williams' Double Life. I actually think this song is pretty good, and it really sets the mood with the movie pretty well, and it made me enjoy it a little bit more. So yeah, I'm giving Despicable Me 4 a 6 out of 10. Well, I finally got those two movies out of the way. So have you guys seen these movies yet? If you have, let me know in the comments below and tell me what you think about them. If you haven't, that's okay, you're not really missing out on anything. Hey guys, this video was a lot longer to release. One, because I went to VidCon and it was a fun time. Then afterwards I got sick, so I couldn't really record anything, so I was waiting to recover. So yeah, and also, thank you for 500 subscribers. It's still very little, but still quite a lot of people. I'm trying my best to make the best videos for my recommended audience, so yeah, I'm still trying to improve here. But yeah, thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe as well. Now I can say that we're halfway there to 1,000 subscribers. Yeah, thanks for watching, and listen to your parents.